to protect the children with placement with the father under the supervision of DHS. We will appoint attorney for mother, Ms. Bunning, and we'll also appoint a guardian ad litem for the children, and we will reschedule this matter for a continued preliminary hearing so that...
It's a tense morning in court. Two parents face off again, the air thick with history, frustration, and fear. The mother stands accused of creating chaos, of ignoring court orders, and of turning her child's life into a battlefield. Her lawyer pleads for patience while the father's side demands accountability. The judge watches, silent but calculating. He's seen this story before. Love turned into a weapon, communication replaced by contempt. The stakes are painfully human: custody, safety, and a child's fragile sense of home. Everyone here knows one thing. By the end of this hearing, someone's world will change forever.
All right. Do you want me to read it to you, or do you believe that you can read it on your own?
You can read it to me if you'd like.
It's about 9 pages long, so it's going to take me a while to do that if you'd like.
That's okay. Never mind.
All right. I'm happy to do it, but just be prepared for it to take a while. So if you want to read it on your own, that's fine with me as well. So,
okay. Yeah.
All right. Ms. Bunning, are there any other courts that are involved with your children at the moment?
Yes, I believe so. It's through Travis Staller's case.
Okay. And do the children have any Indian heritage?
No.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Just making some notes. The purpose of today's hearing, Ms. Bunning, is because there was an emergency removal order entered yesterday, and you're entitled to have a preliminary hearing, or at least an initial hearing within 24 hours to make sure that we're following the rules appropriately. The requirements of today's hearing is simply that the Department of Health and Human Services give me some record of why the children were removed. It's not an ultimate determination of whether that was correct or not. It's simply to determine if there was a small amount of evidence that allows them to.
The arguments ignite fast. Accusations of parental alienation, ignored phone calls, and emotional manipulation fill the courtroom. The father's attorney paints a picture of a mother who vanishes for weeks, then reappears when it's convenient. The judge's patience wears thin. He doesn't need drama, he needs proof. But proof in family court is rarely clean. It's a war of words where truth and perception blur together, and the child, always the child, becomes the silent casualty in the crossfire.
By an attorney, having a trial, calling witnesses.
Yep, I'd be happy to do all of that.
Thanks.
Ms. Bunning, if you wish to contest this matter, you have the following rights. You have the right to have a contested hearing. That could be in front of a judge or a jury. You'd have the right to see, hear, and question the witnesses against you. You'd have the right to present your own witnesses and evidence. You could get an order from the court called a subpoena to require those witnesses to appear and testify. You could testify, or you could remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you. You'd have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond beyond a reasonable doubt, and you'd have the right to appeal. The children would have the right, as I said, to have an attorney represent them, as well as sometimes called a guardian ad litem. That's what that term means. Mr. Sommerfeld, are any other rights that you wish me to advise her of?
Well, Judge, some of those were the criminal rights of beyond a reasonable doubt. She does have to testify. This is a civil matter, and the standard is preponderance of the evidence. I just want to clear that up.
Thank you, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Delaney, would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Sommerfeld.
Thank you. Ms. Delaney, how are you employed?
I'm a children's services specialist with the Department of Health and Human Services in Otsego.
The mother's attorney pushes back, claiming misinformation, exaggeration, and emotional spin. Her voice trembles between frustration and fatigue. Every word she speaks feels like a plea for understanding, but the facts tell a different story. Missed visits. Missed calls. A history of inconsistency that's hard to defend. The judge listens, jotting notes without expression. It's not about who cries louder, it's about who followed the law. And right now, the balance isn't in her favor.
Try briefly, as a CPS investigator, do you receive complaints that you have to investigate?
Yes, we are assigned complaints from centralized intake and then through our supervisor that if assigned, we are required to investigate.
Okay, and the three children that I mentioned, who is their mother?
Natasha Bunny.
Okay, and do you recognize her today?
Yes,
We're on Zoom. Okay. Now, Dad here, his name is Richard Ferris,
that's correct.
and he is not a respondent.
That is correct.
Okay, and the location of the children, what county did these allegations you were investigating, where do the children reside?
They were with their mother in Otsego County, Michigan.
Okay, and so this complaint, did the department, I know there's other workers that were involved, did these allegations of that required an investigation start around June 1st of 2025?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the
A shift in tone. The guardian ad litem steps in, the child's voice in a courtroom full of adults. Her words cut deeper than any argument. The child feels unsafe. That single line sends shockwaves through the room. All at once, the focus shifts from pride to protection. This is no longer about who's right, it's about who's capable. The judge's expression changes, his authority now grounded in urgency. What began as a custody dispute now feels like a rescue mission.
like, with his teeth?
That's my understanding.
Okay, and did one of the department workers, were they able to view that alleged injury?
Yes, a CPS investigator, Andrea Cervini, observed the injuries and took photos of the same.
Okay, and so this, the allegations of domestic violence and child abuse, they involved the three children that I identified earlier?
Yes.
Okay, and so at that time, tell us about what did Ms. Cervini do regarding those allegations that you've outlined?
She forensically interviewed all three of the girls, as well as Ms. Bunning, I believe. And ultimately, CPS open ongoing case was created.
Okay, and the ongoing case, that's considered a Category 2 case?
This was a Category 2 case, yes, with Travis Stallard as the perpetrator.
Okay, and so this Travis Stallard, what is his relationship to the mother, Natasha Bunny?
Up until last evening, the information that we had been receiving is that they were friends or people that hung out together. But last night, Natasha, when we were doing the removal, Natasha referred to him as her boyfriend.
Okay, and so did that incident,
Evidence mounts, police reports, text messages, and school records. Every document tells the same story: neglect, instability, and emotional turmoil. The mother's lawyer tries to explain it away, calling it temporary, circumstantial, misunderstood. But the paper trail doesn't lie. The courtroom grows silent except for the scratching of pens and the slow click of the recording device. The judge leans forward, voice low but firm. This behavior cannot continue. You can feel the chill ripple across the room.
okay, and it was domestic violence. Who was the alleged victim?
Natasha Bunning.
Okay, and was there also charges of child abuse for Travis Stallard?
Yes, the prosecutor's office amended the complaint on June 3rd and charged domestic violence second offense and child abuse fourth degree.
Okay, and then the alleged victim for the child abuse was who?
Naomi Ferris.
Okay, did the court, upon arrest, did it have any type of provision regarding Travis Stallard having contact with Natasha Bunning and the children?
Yes, I don't know exactly when, but I know that a no contact order was issued between Natasha Bunning and Travis Stallard.
Okay. There was other allegations that were received on June 7th of 2025. Can you tell us what those were and who investigated that?
Yes, the allegations indicated that Natasha had been yelling at everyone in the home. She chased Naomi down the street, and when they got home, she slapped Naomi in the face, and it was alleged she was drinking at that time, and that was investigated by Matthew Lawrence with our office.
Okay, and according to your petition on page 7, the you came up with a plan for these ongoing services to prevent removal?
Yes, in conjunction with Mr. Lawrence. Um,
By now, everyone knows where this is heading. The judge's tone turns colder, measured, absolute. He reminds both sides that this court exists for one reason: the child's welfare. No one else. He's seen too many parents weaponize love. Too many children grow up in the wreckage of adult ego. The mother lowers her head, her lawyer whispering rapidly beside her. But the father's attorney stands tall, sensing the shift. Justice is no longer a question, it's an outcome approaching fast.
Assessment Center very recently. The department made arrangements for Naomi to have a substance abuse assessment because alcohol is an issue in this matter. She had indicated to Mr. Lawrence that she'd been drinking, and sometimes she doesn't make the best decisions when she's been drinking. And then, of course, to follow the court's order is to no contact with Travis Stallard.
Okay, and then a third complaint was on or about September 27th of 25. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And this is the one, as this case went on, we had Andrea Servney, we had Matthew Lawrence. Did you start addressing this case as the ongoing CPS worker for Otsego County?
Some of the allegations that we received, I was addressing through the ongoing case. However, the September 27th, 25 allegations were actually assigned as a new investigation, and I conducted that investigation.
Okay, and tell us what was alleged in that on the September 27th of 2025. Why did you have to conduct another investigation regarding mom? And was it the same 3 children?
Yes, it's been consistently the same 3 children, and the allegations included that Natasha was leaving the children home alone to be with Travis Stallard, that the children were hungry and there was no food in the home, that she was not supposed to be around Travis due to criminal charges with him against Naomi. These are the allegations, and that her behavior has changed. Natasha has issues with drinking.
The discussion turns to visitation: how often, under what terms, and whether supervision is necessary. The judge hesitates for only a moment, then makes it clear: if the mother can't follow structure, she won't have access. It's a decision wrapped in mercy but rooted in consequence. The courtroom feels heavier now, the kind of silence that only happens when everyone knows the verdict is close. These aren't just orders, they're lifelines, and breaking them means losing everything.
Children chose to eat, and Natasha is working, and the shortage of food was known and being addressed. But the issue that I was able to establish did occur is that Natasha left the children home alone to be with Travis Stallard.
Okay, and that by itself, Mr. Travis Stallard was not supposed to have contact with Natasha.
That's correct.
Okay, and so were you able to substantiate the allegations in the September 27th of 2025 complaint?
Initially, I was not going to substantiate the allegations because although it's the department's opinion that Natasha should not be having contact with Travis Stallard, that in and of itself was not sufficient, but additional allegations came in, and so the case was substantiated.
Can you tell us about those additional allegations that tipped the scale to what I guess is you filed a petition for removal?
Yes, on October 27th, CPS received additional information that Natasha had on October 25th left her minor children home alone to be with Travis Stollard. There was a very minor injury to Naomi's toe. Naomi could not reach her mother. She was texting her stepmother, Kaylee Ferris, as late as 11:16 p.m. on a Sunday night, asking for, a little bit of comfort and guidance as to the injury to her toe. Indicated she could not reach her mother.
Then comes the twist no one expected, a sudden revelation about missed counseling sessions and broken communication orders. The judge's patience finally snaps. His tone sharpens, every word a warning. He's not just scolding, he's saving what little trust remains. Each command hits like a gavel before the real one even falls. The lawyers exchange glances, knowing this moment will define the next months, maybe years, of these families' lives. The mother looks down, silent, defeated. The father exhales, not in victory, but in exhaustion.
Yes.
Can you give us an explanation for that?
Due to the ongoing concerns about Natasha leaving the minor children home alone well into the night, sometimes overnight, quite honestly, choosing the alleged abuser of her children over her children, and ongoing substance abuse concerns that the department has, it's affecting her ability to properly supervise her children.
And that presents that substantial risk of harm that I described in the beginning of my question.
Yes.
Okay. Is there no provision of service or other arrangement except removal of the child that is reasonably available to adequately safeguard those 3 kids?
Yes, because ongoing services and monitoring have been being provided, and this, as indicated in my petition, continues to be a problem.
Okay. Tell us why continuing the children in mom's residence in their home is contrary to the children's welfare.
Because I believe that they are at substantial risk of harm. As indicated, Naomi has some behavioral and mental health issues. They're 3 young girls home alone. There was the injury to the toe. There have been fights between the girls. They need supervision.
Okay. Were consistent with circumstances, reasonable efforts were made to prevent or eliminate the need for the removal of the children?
Yes.
Can you describe those reasonable?
The courtroom tightens as the final stretch begins. The judge starts outlining next steps, compliance checks, placement options, and a potential transfer of custody. Each word feels surgical, precise, deliberate, irreversible. There's no anger left, only inevitability. The mother's lawyer asks for leniency, but it's too late. The child's stability outweighs sentiment now. You can see it in the judge's eyes. He's not punishing, he's protecting. And sometimes protection feels like punishment to those who didn't see the warning soon enough.
They were placed with their father and stepmother last evening, and that is a home and people that they spend regular amounts of time with and have an established bond and relationship. They have 2 half sisters in that home as well.
Okay, so in that home, the children will be supervised and there's been no identified safety issues like were identified in Natasha's Bunnings home.
That's correct.
All right. Judge, I have nothing else, Judge.
All right. Ms. Bunning, do you have any questions for this witness?
I don't have any questions, but I mean, I have a comment.
Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity in the future to make any statements that you wish. I simply don't want you to say anything that may be used against you later. And I think it might be prudent for you to speak with an attorney before you make any statements in that regard. Is that satisfactory to you?
Absolutely.
All right. I have no further questions of Ms. Delaney either. Mr. Sommerfeld, do you have any additional witnesses or evidence that you want to adduce?
No, all I would do is ask the court when it concludes that we get a good address for mom and that the court can send the JC 111, the advice of rights, after removal, while the court, generally went over.
A pause. The judge exhales slowly, glancing at both sides. His voice softens, and not out of sympathy, but humanity. The court's responsibility, he says, is not to choose parents. It's to protect children. The words land heavy, echoing through the room like a verdict before the verdict. No one moves. The lawyers scribble notes, but their expressions say what their pens can't. This is the end of the road. The decisions made here will echo far beyond these walls.
Testified to by Ms. Delaney that no other service or other arrangement can safeguard the children from this substantial risk of harm, that it is contrary to children's welfare based on the lack of supervision and the children's needs and their young age, that reasonable efforts have been made to eliminate the need for removal, given all of the services provided, not only in the criminal and child abuse case testified to, but what CPS has already done in monitoring for a number of months, and that the conditions away from the parent are adequate to safeguard because they're currently with their father and stepmother, with whom they have an ongoing relationship. So for those reasons, I do approve and the ongoing order from the court to protect the children with placement with the father under the supervision of DHS. We will appoint attorney for mother, Ms. Bunning, and we will also appoint a guardian ad litem for the children, and we will reschedule this matter for a continued preliminary hearing so that additional court hearings and review may be done once the attorneys are involved and Ms. Bunning can have participation in that. Ms. Bunning, where would you like the notices sent to of that continued hearing?
And just like that, the gavel drops. The ruling is final. Placement approved, conditions set, and the case closed. But the silence that follows isn't relief. It's reality setting in. Another family redefined by the weight of law. Another child forced to grow up a little too soon. The judge's face shows both resolve and sorrow. He's done his job, but at a cost that never feels fair. Justice is served, but peace remains out of reach. Like, share, and subscribe to follow more real courtroom moments where truth, pain, and redemption collide in the pursuit of justice.